This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, April starts on Friday. That's not groundbreaking news, but the events at First Friday in downtown Hazleton are. See what's going on next. Good evening and thank you for joining us at FYI. I'm Ken Cara, and again, thank you for watching. Let's get to the information from FYI and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. Did you know that 18 Pennsylvania cities have tested higher than Flint, Michigan for elevated blood lead levels? As a result, some Pennsylvania senators are calling for a statewide task force and more testing to determine the extent of the problem in the Keystone State. Senator John Udijak is sponsoring Senate Bill 1173, part of the 5-bill package.
Well, I'm the Democratic chairman of the Environmental and Energy Committee, and 2 years ago passed a law that toughened the standards in terms of Pennsylvania's lead ban in water, taking it from 8% to 0.25% in terms of the allowable levels of lead in our water. DEP has inspected over 159 water systems in Pennsylvania. They're all fine. Our threat is not on the water side, it's on our old housing stock, whether that's plumbing fixtures in our housing stock, mostly lead-based paint. The 13,000 children that have been impacted by lead in Pennsylvania largely are because of lead-based paint. So if you have a home that was built prior to 1978, we need to have that home inspected, we need to have your children tested. The Pennsylvania Department of Health has a 1-800 number. Their website, you can go to their website, they can direct you to where you can have your home tested and your child tested. My new piece of legislation would be creating a task force so that we can work with mayors, we can work with communities and find out how best to address our aging housing stock in Pennsylvania and how best we can get the lead out of our homes and away from our children.
For more information on lead poisoning, go to health.pa.gov, go to Hot Topics, click on lead paint. You can also call 1-877-PA-HEALTH. A 0 rating by state inspectors has resulted in a road closure in Monterey City. Two sections of Market Street from 2nd to 3rd Streets in the east and from Locust to Linden Streets in the west both failed a stress test. As a result, both areas have been closed to all traffic as recommended by PennDOT. The inspection report will now be forwarded to the borough's engineers, who will in turn come up with an action plan. A man wanted in connection with a double homicide in New York City was captured last night in Schuylkill County. 50-year-old Antonio Morales was shot by U.S. Marshals just after 11 last night in an area along Blue Mountain Road just east of Route 61 in West Brunswick Township near Port Clinton. Morales was discovered in a vehicle parked alongside the road. U.S. Marshals ordered him to exit the vehicle. He refused, put his hands down, and reached into the waist area of his pants. Marshals then fired, hitting him several times. Morales was taken to a Reading hospital, where he was last known to be in stable condition. An arrest warrant had been issued for Morales in connection with a double homicide in Staten Island on Thursday. A ceremony was held today in our state capitol to commemorate the end of the war in Vietnam. Brigadier General Jerry Beck Jr., the Deputy Adjutant General for the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, honored and thanked Pennsylvania Vietnam veterans and their families for their service during the special program. 43 years ago, the last of our troops left Vietnam. The general says that they returned home and were caught in the crossfire of public debate over our involvement in the conflict. To all of our veterans, we say thank you for your service. Downtown Hazleton will be in the spotlight again this Friday as it hosts the monthly celebration known as First Friday. Lisa Sugart has more on the many festivities planned to celebrate spring.
This Friday is April 1st. It's also April Fool's Day, but it's also First Friday in downtown Hazleton. Pleased to welcome back Krista Schneider, the Executive Director of the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress. We're seeing now warmer weather, hopefully, as April's big event takes place. So you have a busy Friday planned.
Yeah, we have some nice events this month, all trying to celebrate spring, get outside a little bit if we can. There's a featured event, Tamara Herzberger with What's the Sense. She's actually sponsoring or offering a container gardening workshop right in our pocket park on Broad Street, so people could get their hands dirty. She's going to have all the supplies, all the materials, $5 registration fee. You have to register in advance because if the weather is bad, we will switch the location to indoors. But anyway, that's from 5 to 6. We also have some art events. We have a featured exhibit at the Hazleton Art League, Jill Swersey. She's going to be there, and that'll be the opening reception for that. We have Meet the Artist event at the Dragonfly, as usual. This month it's a photographer, Scott Loden. He's actually from Atlanta, and he's featuring his photography of the mining landscape here in the region. So that should be neat. Live music. There's a band, of course, playing at the Pines, but there's also a musician, Meet the Musician night, which is something new. That's going to be in the Broad Street Business Exchange at a new business, Expressions Boutique. She's bringing in a friend from New York who's a musician. He's going to play guitar, violin, and that for people. So hopefully people get out for that. Kids could also participate in a gardening workshop, or they could go to the library. They're having a story time for kids and a spring craft project. And there's also 3 other events. Meet the Author event is being held at Frankie's Pizza. The author's name, Alexandra Blahowski, I think that's how you pronounce it. She wrote a book, Deception of the Hunter's Moon, and she's going to be there that evening. So you could get your book signed. You could also pick up some cupcakes from Whip Sweet Shop that's going to be featured there as well. There's an adopted greyhound event, which is backed by popular demand at the shop too. Greyhounds, April is actually Adopt the Greyhound month. So
I know you've done that before with the adopted greyhound, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and there's also a free show at the Sanctuary Stunt Studio from 8 to 9:30. So that's a wonderful event. If people haven't taken an opportunity to do that, they should do that for sure.
All right, there's always a lot happening for the first Friday. And now that the weather's warmer, you've had nice crowds all along, even through the cold months, so this should be even better.
Yeah, it's hard to get people out in the cold and the dark, but now that, it's becoming spring, we're hoping to, get more people downtown. Certainly last year we had a lot of success, and we're looking forward to continued success.
All right, and if you would like to see the complete schedule, you can go to downtownhazelton.org, and you can get all of the information right there for what's happening in this Friday's First Friday in downtown Hazleton.
Thanks a lot, Lisa. Coming up next, the latest from the local nonprofit Brandon's Forever Home, plus our local weather forecast. And later in sports, we have details on an upcoming local soccer tournament. FYI, we'll be right back.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
A special seminar will take place to help foster parents and parents of adopted children. Brandon's Forever Home in Hazleton is partnering with Jen Billig from Include Me for a seminar. This seminar is next Wednesday, April 6th at 6 p.m. at Brandon's Forever Home, 187 North Church Street in Hazleton. It will provide an overview of the foster parent's role in education and understanding early intervention. You can email Jen in advance with any questions that you may have. Her email is jbillig@includeme.org. Or you can go to includemepa.org for more information. This seminar is open to all foster parents and parents of adopted children. Please RSVP. Refreshments will be served. Call Brandon's Forever Home at 570-926-5117.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
This weather shot was taken at the Pine Street Playground, where it was a beautiful day if you ignored the massive wind gusts. Here's our local forecast from the National Weather Service tonight. It will be clear with a low of 28 degrees with a northwest wind from 6 to 15 miles per hour. And now to our 4-day outlook, where we see on Wednesday it will be sunny with a high near 54 with a light wind becoming south 5 to 10 miles per hour in the morning. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, low of 40 degrees with a south wind from 11 to 14 miles per hour. On Thursday, showers likely, mostly cloudy with a high near 62. Winds will get up to 21 miles per hour. Thursday night, showers likely, once again 70% chance, cloudy with a low of 50 degrees, once again breezy. Friday, showers likely, 60% chance on Friday, mostly cloudy with a high near 60 degrees. Friday night, mostly cloudy and cold with a low in the mid-30s. On Saturday, mostly sunny, highs only in the mid-40s, and then on Saturday night, partly cloudy, will be down in the upper 20s.
And we're here at McCann School of Business and Technology, and we're telling you about getting an education, but more importantly, getting a job. We're with Matt Adams. He's not only a graduate here, he actually works here at McCann. So Matt, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I graduated from McCann 9 years ago in the business administration program. I started working here as an admissions representative, slowly worked my way up through admissions, then into career services, which I'm doing now. And it's so fulfilling to actually give back. You know, being a graduate and having that fear of what am I going to do after I graduate, and then being able to be here in this position and say to these students, you know, there is life after graduation, there is something out there, and working with these employers that are around this area and showing what our graduates have to offer is something really rewarding.
All right, so to the students who are coming to McCann or are thinking about coming to McCann, what kind of advice can you offer them as being a student here?
I would say, you know, the first hurdle is coming in and getting information. That was the scariest part for me. That's usually the scariest part for everybody. Come in, get the information. The worst that you're going to be able to say to yourself that is, it's not for me. And if that's the case, then, you know, you're no worse for wear. So you come in, get the information, see what we have to offer, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. But you could find a new career out of this, and you could sit down with an admissions rep, get all the information you need, and in a couple weeks be starting a new chapter of your life.
The nice thing, too, about McCann is, as you hit the nail on the head, you work directly with the employers.
Absolutely.
So that will benefit the student how?
That's going to benefit them by us networking for them. You know, networking is a huge deal when it comes to getting a job. So not a lot of people know that, and not a lot of people use soft skills anymore. At McCann, we teach those soft skills: going to work on time, having good hygiene, you know, being polite, being able to get along with your coworkers is something that is not taught in a high school or anything like that. So we want to make sure that comes across to our grads too.
Okay, how about affordability?
That's a big thing too. When you come in, you actually get a cost estimate. So you sit down with an admissions representative, they tell you what you're eligible for, and then you walk away with that cost sheet at the end of the interview.
Okay, so now you come to McCann, you get to graduation, and now you're looking for a job as you were. I've found from my experience that McCann likes to hire their students for employment here.
Yes, I'm an example of it. In career services, Nicole is an example of that. Barbara Reese, who has been here for 30 years, is an example of that. She's our director of education. Most of our employees that we have at McCann Hazleton are graduates of McCann. We believe in what we do, and it just shows, hey, we train the best, we'll hire the best.
Very good. Thanks for sharing your story with us here on SSPTV. We'll see you next week.
Janine, I appreciate it. Now here's your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers on FYI. Pick 2, 1, 2, pick 3, 3, 6, 6, pick 4, 4, 7, 7, 9, and pick 5, 3, 3, 5, 9, 0. It's Law Talk time on FYI right now. When we come back, we have a story about the growing popularity of soccer in the Hazleton area.
We received a viewer question, and the viewer asks, who handles the estate if there is no will?
Very legitimate question. It happens quite frequently. A lot of people that we see, they be middle-aged or even kind of like myself, heading into the senior category, and they don't have a will. And of course, we can't predict when we're going to die, so it's not unlikely for someone to die without a will. Well, what happens if you have property, and that property's in your name, and you haven't set forth in a will who you want to get that property? What happens to that property? How is it, in the eyes of the law, administered? Well, it's administered under the Pennsylvania Fiduciary and Estate Code. It's called intestate. Intestate means that you don't have a will. And the code also provides that someone, a family member, spouse, brother, sister, cousin, someone has to be appointed by the court to transition that property to where it belongs once you pass away. And that can only be done by what we call a citation. And that citation has to be brought to the Register of Wills. The person seeking to administer the estate has to ask the Register of Wills to appoint them as the administrator of the estate. And they have to give notice of that meeting with the Register of Wills to other relatives, creditors, who may have a right under the fiduciary code to be administered and administer the estate. More often than not, it's a relative. More often than not, nobody objects. But that is a step that is necessary when there is no will designating an executor. If there's an executor named in a will, it's much easier. You take the will up, take the named executor, you get sworn in, and you start administering the estate from there. Without a will, you have to go through the citation process to have someone appointed. But effectively, once that's done, it's no different than having an executor in a will.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
There's a very big soccer tournament coming soon that has a lot of people excited. No, I'm not talking about the Copa America Centenario. That's bringing players like Messi and Neymar to the States. Who cares about that when you have Cara, Coutinho, and DM right here in your backyard? Yes, my friends, the first ever Pine Street Powerball soccer tournament is coming to Hazleton, and it's creating quite a buzz. Rohan Coutinho has created the soccer equivalent of the bat signal.
So I figured, there's all these people and everybody's texting each other. It's kind of hard to get, about 20 people together to play a game of soccer. So I figured, why not just make a Facebook group, send out an invite, and then whoever wants to come, go ahead and show up. And people started finding out about it, and then just more and more people started coming together. And I guess that's just how it formed. And now people check quite often, if we're playing, if they want to play in the winter time, as long as there's about 14 people or 10 or 14 people willing to play, we'll play a small-sided game, we'll play at Pine Street Playground, something like that, just to keep it going all year round.
If you post it, they will come. Coutinho grew up playing soccer and eventually found a spot on the Hazleton area high school team, and then he played at Penn State Hazleton.
I feel like soccer kind of grew a little more in the area as the population started getting, more, differentiated, like people from New York and other places were coming, and then the U.S. team was doing so great, like everybody was following the World Cup. And I think now it's actually at a pretty good place where there's a lot of people playing. There's just not actually enough places to play.
Pickup games are great, but Coutinho wanted to organize a local tournament. He says most tournaments cost a lot of money and are held outside of the area. So he got in touch with his friend Jocelyn Starenchuk, who is the executive director of Hazleton Power, a group of self-proclaimed community enthusiasts who are from the Hazleton area. Starenchuk helped get the ball rolling, and the Pine Street Powerball soccer tournament was born.
I was more concerned about the soccer aspect of it, so I was like, listen, I'll bring you the people. I don't want to make anything from it, it's a charity thing. Whatever you have over and above, feel free to fix up the park. I'd love it if they could fix up more things around Hazleton. So I was just like, yeah, take it and run with it. So she's doing the mural project.
The Hazleton Mural Project will provide art on select buildings in the city. The Pine Street Powerball Tournament will provide soccer fans of all skill levels with a chance to get out and play. The cost is $180 per team, and the deadline to register and get a t-shirt is April 8th. It's a 5-on-5 tournament at the Pine Street Playground in the city, and there's a roster max of 7 players. Teams will be broken up into 2 divisions, an A division for people who play on a regular basis, and a B division for people just looking to get out and run, have fun, and compete.
Soccer's fun. You don't usually get a chance to play with, if you're in school, you play with people in your school. You don't usually get a chance to play with people in the community. This way, parents can play with children, siblings can play on the same team, you can come out cheer for your family. it's just a good time. And even if you're just there for food, you know, there's gonna be food.
The tournament starts on Sunday, April 24th and runs each week until June 5th. Sponsorships are still needed. For more information on all of this, head to hazeltonpower.org. The tournament is a combined effort of local soccer enthusiasts, Hazelton Power, and the Hazelton Recreation Department. Right now, Hazelton Power is working on getting some food trucks to come to the games for spectators and players. Power also says that the Hazelton Mural Project will encourage creativity and deter graffiti. There is a Facebook group for the Pine Street Powerball Tournament, and if you're interested in the local pickup games, find Hazelton Soccer on Facebook. That's soccer with no E. In other sports news, the Hazelton area softball team's 2016 season is officially underway. Let's see how the Lady Cougars did on the FYI Standard Speaker scoreboard. Down 4-0 in the bottom of the third, the Big HA got 1 run back, and then in the fourth, they tied things up. Actually, in the fourth, they tied things up. They had the bases loaded in the sixth, but stranded the runners. Easton then scored 3 runs in the seventh to secure the victory. The Lady Cougars are on the road at Bethlehem Liberty on Saturday. The Sportscast is now over. Here comes the Social Report. Happy Wing Night. It's Wing Night at Bottlenecks. Get $2 off your order of wings or all-you-can-eat wings and boneless wings for only $14.95. Bottlenecks wings are voted best wings in the area year after year.
Hey golfers, have we got the perfect vacation spot for you? Myrtle Beach. Signature Golf Packages builds and reserves the finest and most reasonably priced Myrtle Beach vacations. From scheduling your golf tee times to making your hotel accommodations. Oceanfront to golf course villas. Mark Paston, a Hazelton native, has been doing this for 10 years. Expect excellent customer service, local knowledge of all the courses, and the best golf vacation of a lifetime. Call now to learn all of the specials that Signature Golf Packages can offer you or your group. 866-462-9885 or book now at signaturegolfpackages.com.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. First tonight, Freeland Crime Watch will be holding their next meeting Monday, April 4th at 6 p.m. from the Freeland Senior Center. Judge Dan O'Donnell will be the guest speaker, and the group encourages everyone to come out and join the Crime Watch. And one more quick announcement, the Greater Hazelton Chamber of Commerce will be holding their 12th annual Icebreaker Golf Outing Friday, April 29th at the Valley Country Club. Registration and lunch is at 11 a.m. and it starts at noon with a shotgun start. Several prizes are available. For info, just call 570-455-1509 or check out hazeltonchamber.org. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Philip R. Smith of Drums. Funeral is Thursday at 10:30 a.m. from the Harmon Funeral Home. Friends may call Wednesday from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9 p.m. Patricia Collar, formerly of McAdoo. Memorial is April 9th at 11 a.m. at the Harvest, Cunningham Valley. Friends may call at the church from 9 to 11 a.m. The Cropton Hughes Funeral Home assisted the family with the arrangements. Francis Spore of McAdoo. Arrangements will be announced by the Damiano Funeral Home. Joyce M. Kalua of Drums. Funeral is Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. from the Harmon Funeral Home. Friends may call Wednesday from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Larry Gallagher of Sandy Valley. Funeral is Thursday at 9 a.m. from the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home. Friends may call Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Cleo J. Youngcourt of Hazel Township. Arrangements will be announced by the Hazel Chapel of the Cropton Hughes Funeral Home. Rachel M. Setzer of Weatherly. Memorial is Friday at 11 a.m. from the Our Lady of Lourdes Roman Catholic Church. Arrangements are by the Philip J. Jeffries Funeral Home. And Marie B. Ferrari, formerly of Hazelton. Arrangements will be held at the convenience of the family and under the direction of the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home.
And finally tonight, unicorns existed as recently as 29,000 years ago. I know, how did we wait almost 28 minutes before getting to this story? The Siberian unicorn was more like a rhinoceros than the one on Lisa Frank Trapper Keepers, but nonetheless, a skull found in Kazakhstan is helping scientists understand more about the species. This information comes from the American Journal of Applied Sciences and U.S. News and World Report. Before I sign off, I want to thank Isabel Lassant for my Batman vs. Superman henna tattoo. Very cool. Everyone will love it at the gym. Take it easy, everyone. We're back on FYI tomorrow.